Hey guys, welcome back to the garage. Not much on the way of an update today as far as my build projects go, which is the Yarborough Buick, NASCAR, and the Ryder trailer. Uh, I've gotten very little done on the trailer. Just been really busy outside. Just now getting back to where I can start getting some more videos filmed for you guys. So what this video is going to be about, I want to talk about this kit and its variants. The 70 Plymouth GTX. As I said in the Super B video that I had done, that the Super B is probably one of my favorite Monogram super muscle car kits. I said the Superbird would be my favorite, but I mean it's all on this line, so I kind of probably got to clump them all together because I love these kits the way they go together, and I've never really had that much problem with them. So, but I wanted to start out with the GTX because this was the first in the Monogram kits that started this line, which would have actually was the Belvedere line of cars in 1970 here. So I want to start with this kit. Now, this is not the original box art. The GTX was originally released in 1982, and it would have had a different box art, and it was lime green on the cover of the box, like this one here. So that would have been like what the original box art would have been like. Then it was re-released again in 1986, I believe, as a 2-in-1. So you can do this, which is basically what this is. This will be the third release, which is a 2-in-1 as well, which you do the street machine. So it had an option for the blower and stuff, or the high rise, I guess what that was on there. And you get a go wing back there with it. I don't know if the original one had the wing back there like that or not, but this is the third release. This was released in 1991. I'm sorry, this is 1995. Yeah, 95 is what this one is. So I believe it was 82, 86, and then 95 for the GTX. So, and then we want to look at it. I just want to look in this video. I just want to cover the original kit and then its variants, which would be the Superbird and the Roadrunner, and just to see what, if anything, has changed. Now, obviously, the Roadrunner is not going to have the GTX emblems, obviously. So that's a given right there. But we're going to look at a couple other things that are that are a little different between all these kits. So here's an example that I have. This would have been of the original 82 release. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. This would have been the 86 because I had the other box art, which is on the thumbnail down the right-hand corner of the thumbnail. There is that box art. So again, just going to go over these cars real quick here for you, just to show you some examples. And we're going to look at the box art, and I'm going to show you some of the differences that I've found out. So this is the 70 GTX, a Monogram, and it needs some help, but I do have the front bumper for it, and I do have the other wheel. Now, these wheels weren't part of the kit. I think I might have gotten these off of either I don't know if they might have been off the 70 Chevelle, the heavy Chevy Chevelle, or the 57 Nomad. I'm not really sure, but they're not kit wheels with this. So I just went with something different. But like I said, did this a long time ago, needs redone. But, this is an example. And how they did these, they put the bucket seats, console. I'll try to get that to where you can see it. Okay, console and the floor shifter. So that's how all these GTXs, or the Monograms, the interior was configured in that bucket seat, console, floor shifter. The side pipes are not kit parts. I just threw them on there back in the day because I just thought they looked neat. See here, I actually cut the whole entire exhaust off just to run those side pipes. So if I want to redo this, if I do that, I'll get another set of pipes that I can run all the way back. It'd be as it was like factory. So I had the decal stripe on the side there. But that's the first example of this GTX kit. So this is our base model that we'll go off of as a comparison. So I'm going to set this one back here on the table. And that's the only box art example that I have for this kit, is the 1995 release. So I'm going to move that one out of the way. Now we will go and we'll look at the second variant, which would have been the Superbird. Okay, now there are obvious differences on this one because of what it is. Okay, so now the GTX isn't on the scoop. They've added the wing for the Superbird. Wheels and tires are the same. The Goodyear's just like a generic steel belted radial on there. Not an actual, it's Goodyear brand, but not an actual model. And of course you got the nose cone, so the fenders are different, the hood is different, and obviously this nose cone, because these 70 Superbirds actually used 1970 Dodge Coronet fenders to accept that nose cone up front. And then even at that, they had to use these filler panels to make it all work. And this has the vinyl top on it, the molded vinyl top. Because all the Superbirds with his extensive bodywork on the back, they all had vinyl tops once they made it to the dealerships. And these weren't actually done this way. They weren't completed like this at the Chrysler assembly plants. They sent these out, and then another place would finish them up. And I don't have a name for you on that, but we'll stick to the model versions of these anyway. So I do have an example of this kit that was actually built in 87. And this kit is an 87 release. That was the first year for the Monogram Superbird. So I'm going to grab the example that I have of that. So this is a kit that I built actually in 87 or 88, back when this kit was brand new. It's got some wear on it. It's been around for the years, but just a pretty much right out of the box kit. If I remember, I did put some wires on the engine. So that I did wire it up in there. Engine color's incorrect, but I used what I had back then. If I didn't have any orange paint, then I used what I had. So that's the example of this kit that was actually built when the kit was new. So 1970 Superbird. And I want to show you a couple of differences on these two that were actually kind of incorrect. If you look right here, okay, you have a washer bottle here. This overflow bottle actually should not be there. This should just be flat all the way to the front. Okay, so that's incorrect. But, back then I wasn't about to attempt to take it off. And generally when I build them now, I'm going to leave that bottle on there just because don't really want to mess with the extra work a lot of times on something like that. Now this right here, I always wondered, what is this supposed to be? But I honestly think that's supposed to represent the little metal tab that would come out to hold the heater hoses. That's the only thing I can figure out why they had molded that in to represent that. So again, speculation, my guess, can't prove it. But so anyway, that's one thing that is incorrect on these cars. The way that, and the GTX is the same way. And like I said, we're going to look at the variants, the GTX, the Superbird, and then the Roadrunner, and then just see how they all compare. But again, same interior, identical interior to the GTX. You got the bucket seats, console, floor shifter. Wheels, tires, same thing. Rear panel, basically same thing. Well, instead of GTX, this has actually nothing on it back here. And again, you got a different roof. You see the back window. You can see those together are totally different. Well, let me hold them this way. There you go. Totally different. So that's variant number one. Put this lid back. Lid. My dad always called them a lid. Put the hood back on. And I will be right back with another one. Actually, I'll be back with two more. I'm going to move this box out of the way here. And I'm just going to set these in here just real quick. I'm not taking a whole lot of time on these, but these are modern builds here. I've done this one probably Get them in there where you can see them first. I'm going to move this guy over here. There we go. The white one I did probably 3 or 4 years ago, and this one I did just last year. And what I'm doing with these is just real fast here. The Superbirds came in 7 colors. They called them high impact colors. You had the Alpine white. This is Tor red. You had lemon twist yellow. B5 blue, which I believe was blue fire metallic. You had vitamin C orange. You had corporate blue or petty blue. And limelight, I think, was the 7th one. I think I got those all right. So if not, I'll put a thing on the screen there and you should be able to look down and see all those colors. So anyways, what I'm planning on doing, I have enough of these to build all 7 cars in those colors. So that's what my goal is on these. I want to build one of every color. And so I've got the white one, obviously, and the red one done. And I'm going to try to do each of them just a little bit differently. Like this one here has the black interior with console and floor shifter. And this one I've got the wheels from the 71 CUDA kit. One of the rallies on this one. This one has this Magnum 500 wheels from the kit. So I put that on there. This has got the white interior with the console and floor shifter. And some of these I want to do. I want to put a Hemi in one of them, probably the petty blue one, and so on and so forth. Just make something just a little bit different with each one of them. So, all right. So that covers the Superbirds. Now I'm going to move on to the Roadrunner. So then this is the 3rd variant right here, and would be the last variant of the GTX kit. It was the Roadrunner. This box art version was released in 1970. And before I do that, I got ahead of myself. I'll be right back. Sorry to backpedal, guys, but I just wanted to give an example of all these box arts. So you've seen the first box art for the Superbird. This would have been the 91 release of the Superbird. This is the 95 release of the Superbird. They show the actual car. And this is the 2012, I think it's 2011 release. And this would have been the final release on the Superbird. And I'd love to see them re-release this car again. Would be very cool. So that's all the Superbirds. Now we can proceed with the Roadrunner. So we're up to the Roadrunner in 2000. And again, we're going to see some more differences on here. Of course, now it just says Plymouth on the grill instead of GTX, obviously. No GTX here because they did the Roadrunner. And there is a pretty good size difference. One of them here is the wheel choices. They give you the Magnum 500, but they give you these. And actually, they're incorrect to the car because there's actually cop car wheels. And to my knowledge, unless you could order them that way, and I don't know, these would have just been regular Steelies with the dog dish caps instead of having the holes like for the cop cars. So that is one maybe inaccuracy, but not a deal breaker, obviously, at all. So, but we're going to look at difference on this. So this was the first release. You could get the air grabber hood scoop there, just like the GTX, but you can get the air grabber decal there this time. So that was cool. And then the dust stripe. And I have an example of this car as well. This is the 70 Roadrunner, and I built this one up out of this kit, I believe, is what this one came from. So this is from the 2000 release. And look at the bird here. And I'm going to show you something later as a comparison if I get that to focus. Okay, see that? The bird is just a shadow on there, basically, or an outline. And I think it was probably licensing. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to assume it was a licensing issue. But we did get the air grabber. We got the air grabber decal on there. Yeah, but this one, now these wheels actually and tires are from the GTX Street Machine version. I just wanted a set of Kragers on there, and I had those laying around the box. I'm like, perfect car to put it on. So that made that look pretty nice, I thought. So again, there's the front with that, just the Plymouth on the grill. But I took some liberties on this one. This one I took the Hemi out of the 71 CUDA, and I just put a Hemi in it. And it's got heater hoses, plug wires, battery cables, and the like. So, and then those headers actually, the stock headers for the Barracuda fit really nice in here. I did have to do some work on the K-member. On the top side, you had to kind of trim this away. I think not only this way, but up on the top side as well to accept that engine. But once you get that clearance done there, it sets down in there really nice. So, but I just wanted a black Hemi Roadrunner. Thought that looked pretty sharp. And then now I'm going to show you the difference on that, the biggest difference between this and the GTX. Now in this Roadrunner, you get the bench seat with this one. So it's a totally different interior bucket. So you get the bench seat, you still get the floor shifter. Get there where you can see it. So you still get the floor shifter, but actually it's incorrect for the car because that was the one for the console, and the one for the non-console car would have been a longer shifter handle. So not the grip, but the actual shifter itself would be longer than that. But like I said, they did a fair job anyways of recreating that. So put the hood back on this. Now I'll show you some box arts, and then I'm going to show you up close that interior, the differences. This would have been the next release of that, and this was 2011, 2012. I got them numbers mixed up. So this is a 2012 release. Same as this kit, virtually the same. The decals were the same. You see the bird there's blanked out. So those were all the same. And you get your, I don't know, yeah, this one here did, the 2000 did have the hood striping. It was an option. So this one was the same way. So 2012, second round of Roadrunner. And this is the most recent Roadrunner release here. This is 2022. 70 Roadrunner there. And I like what they've done with this one. They've actually changed up the decals on this. I mean, they're just builds into a nice car. They still have the same option for those cop car wheels, but the Magnum 500s look really good on there. But I'm going to show you now the differences up close. Here's the interior bucket for the Superbird. Okay, this is the way the GTX and the Superbird were all molded in this configuration right here. That's the only way you could get that. Okay, bucket seats, consoles molded into the floor. Floor's not actually correct. They got this squared off. Should have been round right here. But, you know, for what it is, door panels, these, I'll show you where you can see it. The armrests don't really stick out very far. So they're just kind of almost not quite flush, but they're really close to the door panel there. Another difference on the interior, the dash. And this is from the Superbird kit. If I can get it here, we can see it. Right there. GTX. So that's exactly the same mold from the GTX kit. So if you want to use this kit for your Superbird in this dash, you got to make sure to make it accurate that you trim that off of there, which is what I did with both of my other Superbirds that I just showed you. And here's the other difference. Now we're going to compare the interiors real quick here. Now you have a multi-piece, you have a 3-piece interior. Your door panels are separate from the floor. And these interiors you really can't interchange them. I mean, you could fit this up in there, but you could maybe get it to work, but you got a big gap there between the door and the door panel. So it really is not that good of a fit. So I guess if you wanted, you could try to make it work, but it just really is not the right fit for that. So, and there's your difference. Like I said, on your door panels are so much more detailed and how far those armrests stick out. I mean, they jet right out there. It's hard to see it that way. There you go. See how they stick right out there. So biggest difference, this you get separate pedals though now. That's cool. Pedals are separate from the floor. And then pretty much everything else in the kit is pretty much the same. You can get your scoop opener closed, which was the same way it was on the GTX kit. The origin of all this. So that's pretty much it on the body and the differences, the major differences on it. And of course, now here you get the bench seat. So then all the same engine options. And then now, of course, on this one, the GTX is gone off of there, obviously. And the last thing I probably like the best about this is the decal sheet. We'll get up here because check out the bird now. See, now you actually see the Roadrunner instead of just that outline. And the dust trail stripe is somewhat more pronounced. So much better. I really, really like that part. That's what I like the most when I seen this kit. But you got your gauge decals, your air grabber still, your blackout, and this is pretty thick, so you want to use a lot of setting solution if you use that centerpiece there. But that's the major differences, guys. And again, this is not actually a review, so I won't waste all my time on that. But that's the major differences. Maybe minor, maybe major. And I do have a decal sheet when I restore that GTX, whenever that may be. I think it's a little curled, but I think it's still going to be okay to use. So, but anyway, that's as rushed as it may have seemed, guys. But that's pretty much the difference on these. The GTX, Monogram GTX and its variants. I'll just set a Superbird up here too as we go out. So there's the Belvedere line by Monogram. From the Roadrunner, or the GTX to the Roadrunner to the Superbird. There's an example of each one right there. So that's about all I had on that, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's always fun to go back and look and see where these kits started and if they made variants, how close they stayed to the original, or if there was any kind of drastic changes, new molds or anything. But for the most part, you know, pretty much the same kit other than the bodies, obviously different molds for the bodies and stuff for their variants. But that's the Plymouth line for Monogram. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap that one up. It's getting late here where I'm at, so I'm going to get ready to head in. And you guys have a great day. God bless you, and happy modeling.